podcast starts now. Welcome all to our Earnestness Bonanza, that special time of year when we answer your questions as earnestly as possible.
We drop the act. We're in our Nanette era in the sense that we are going from comedy to drama for this one special episode that's sure to win many awards and top the Netflix charts.
And needless to say, and why are we doing it? Well, because it's autumn. And autumn is a time of reflection.
That's right. Autumn is a time for reflection.
Well, it's harvest.
It's actually the only time of reflection we kind of have left, if you think about it.
Well, summer is a time to completely look outward. Don't look inward for even a moment.
Summer is literally about putting the song Harley's in Hawaii by Katy Perry on constant repeat from the beginning of June to the first week of September. And then when that ends, you have to pick up the pieces. And I think there's no reflection in winter. I think winter, you're too depressed to reflect. I think spring, you're too amped up for what's to come. And then summer, of course, I mean, just cock in every orifice. You can barely speak.
Yeah. It's really, fall is the only time. I actually do feel this way, even with like working. And like the only time I'm really focused is fall.
And let's just say specifically the month of October, because then you get into the Thanksgiving, you get into the holidays. Maybe it's like first week of October through second week of November. That is the academic year.
I mean, when you hit November 15th, I wipe my hands clean and I say, let's wrap it up.
He said, you know what? We did what we could, but we actually cannot resuscitate the patient.
I say, yeah, it's what's more important now is accepting.
Yes.
Where we're at. And,
And acceptance is different than reflection.
Oh, of course. Acceptance that happens on November 15th.
Right. Acceptance. This is interesting. People think the holidays are a time for reflection because you're feeling gratitude. No, the holidays are a time of acceptance because what you're doing is you're deciding based on wherever you are. Let's say you are unhappy with your career. Let's say you're in an unhappy relationship. Let's say you are single and don't want to be single. You have to convince yourself that those are okay because if you don't, it's fucking over for you. So from mid-November through January 2nd, you have to you're saying, this is what I'm working with.
Yeah.
And it's time to make an intellectual argument that this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Spin it however you can. You're your own PR firm.
You have to be the queen of spin. You have to be like a woman in a documentary about Vogue that's like, get me 5 scarves yesterday, but about your own life.
Yeah. And that can be empowering. That's the beauty of the holidays.
Exactly.
But we're here to reflect. So this is a groundbreaking episode because, normally we've done emails and we've had to sort of read them out loud. It's sort of been, had a DIY flair. This time, that's right, George set up a damn voicemail. We're doing a call-in episode. So we're going to hear your stunning, beautiful voices for once. Suddenly, see how the other half lives. You're going to hear yourself. And I
want to say these were very emotional to listen to. I just listened to all of them in a row. On a Friday. So, of course, I'm already feeling emotionally vulnerable / cautiously optimistic about the weekend. Kind of the perfect place to be is, I would say, Friday at 11 a.m. And I was a little worried. People love to give us feedback, okay? And we welcome it. And there was a part of me that was like, what if, I don't know, I hear something that makes me feel sad. Like if someone's like, the podcast is not as good as it used to be, or if someone's like, hey, like I stopped listening, and if that is your experience, I celebrate it, but please don't tell us. But I have to say, not a single one of these calls was negative in any way. All of them made me feel great. All of them were also not like blindly differential to us. Like all of them were treating us with respect and also with openness.
That's great. I can't wait because I have not heard one. And so they're all coming surprise to me.
And so in that spirit, I do want to play just a first call from a good friend of ours.
Hi, guys. It's Allison Rowan. I am so irritated you got a phone number that makes any sense for your callers. I resent you. I'm sure the show will be great. Anyway, have a good time. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Allison Roman.
Thank you, Allison.
I'll say this about Allison. She is really great about checking in.
I have to agree. This girl shows up.
I love that she is actually, in the truest sense of the word, like a social extroverted person. And it's always such a joy to hear from her.
No, it's a real treat. And it's also like, it always still feels special. I always get that little rush.
I know. Can you believe it? How far we've come?
I know.
We're just gabbing with Allison. And, as a branding expert that she is, she has many properties to her name. I think she is recognizing that we made a conscious choice to have 385 gay guys.
That was George, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you have done to put this together. You have done literally all of the work, and it's been sort of a good chunk of work, and I have not lifted a damn finger. And I'm grateful that you have done all that.
It's my passion project, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see what we do with it. But before that, I do want to play one more important call.
Wait, before this call, can I?
Yes.
One riff on Alison Roman, of course.
Please.
You know that Nicki Minaj lyric where she's like, "Sitting with Anna, I'm really sitting with Anna," because she's like sitting with Anna Wintour.
That's us with Allison.
Us with Alison Roman. Chatting with Roman, I'm really chatting with Roman.
Okay, wait, let me find the one that I found it. Ready?
Yes.
Hi, George and Sam. John here, first time, long time. And I have an earnestness bit and a question. The earnestness bit is about the StraightioLab Discord, patreon.com/StraightioLab, which has really come into its own in the past year or so. We've had several meetups across the nation, across the globe. Over the summer, we even had a brunch around the Las Culturistas Awards. And I just wanted to thank you both on behalf of the Discordistas out there. What a special little place y'all really let flourish. I do have a question. Can you give a little touring update for us? As Toronto girlies in particular are waiting with bated breath, 2024, 2025, let us know. Love ya. XOXO, John.
And I just wanted to play that call because we have a very special announcement, which is that we officially have a Toronto date and a venue, and we will start promoting it like in the next 3 days.
Yeah. Can I just say when it is?
Do you have it in front of you?
I know it. It's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. American Thanksgiving.
Yes. It is Saturday, November 23rd. Saturday, November 23rd at the Paradise Theater. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
No, I for some reason I thought it was on Sunday, but you're probably right.
Yeah. So there you go. See you then, bitch.
See you then, bitch. And shout out to all the Discordistas. That's actually so sweet. We love to see the meetups, and we love that there's friendships blossoming. That is,
yes, it's true.
Cool.
We love the Discordistas. We love friendships blossoming. We love all the meetups in different cities, and we are really excited for Toronto, a place where we have promised we are about to go to for exactly 4 years. And in our defense, each time it did seem like it was about to happen. But, first of all, I have self-undiagnosed ADHD, and Sam had to move. So I don't know what exactly you people wanted from us, but we are coming on November 23rd. My dear friend from Toronto told me that is the absolute worst time to visit the city. And
wait, why?
I cannot
just
wait
to
winter? See why. I think just because of winter.
Well, I, for one, can't wait. I know some Toronto chicas that I'm going to hit up.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
My dear internet friend Donnie Crosswell lives there.
Ooh.
And you better believe we're going out.
Okay, let's get into calls because we have so many. It's insane. We got more calls than we ever do emails, and we're not gonna get to all of them. But I am like, let's prioritize ones that we can answer quickly. All right, ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Hootie hoo. Long-time listener, first-time home buyer, big fan of the pod, and I had a topic I wanted you to discuss. Between Paul Mescal and All of the Strangers, Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor in Challengers, and Nicolas Cage in Longlegs, 2024 has been a banner year for straight actors playing gay guys in film, and there's seemingly no end in sight. So I wanted to raise the topic of these gay for pay actors, but past the question of whether or not it's allowed, because we know it is. What are your favorite and least favorite performances in the genre? Who are straight actors you look forward to playing gay one day? Is it only okay if they're hot? And what about lesbians? Let me know.
And what about lesbians?
Genius. That could be a good addendum on sort of every question.
Well, okay, maybe we can start with lesbians since you just recently watched The Kids Are All Right.
Oh my God. I mean, I felt like they really nailed it.
They definitely nailed it. And of course, that is directed by a queer woman. So she, of course, directed them in a way only a LGBTQ plus woman could.
Oh, wow.
I think they also did the Annette Bening is such a classic butch doctor lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julianne Moore is such a classic bisexual leaning long hair lesbian.
No, I really felt that was like, I watched that movie and I said, these women are lesbians. I said, this is not playing. They believe it right now.
Yeah. And I know that people say that, I mean, the politics of that movie, if you read it the wrong way, are bad. But also, if you read it with an open heart and not as a little bitch, they are fine. And so I actually think Julianne Moore does a great job of portraying the emotional complexity of both loving her wife and also being attracted to Mark Ruffalo, which I think is an experience most lesbians have had.
It's a very complex, to me, that movie, it's not even about the relationships. It's about drinking wine in California. And I really felt like they portrayed that.
Yes, 100%. I'll start with worst and then we can go to best.
Okay, I have a worst.
This is not a gay guy performance. This is a trans woman performance, but Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club, I know that is a very cliche answer to this, is, I would say, like, world historically offensive. And I have not, there are scenes in that movie that haunt me, and I cannot believe it was allowed to happen, and I cannot believe that he won an Oscar for it.
I never saw that movie, and now I'm glad I never did.
Well, honey, you're not missing much.
My worst is, and it's kind of a charming bad,
sure,
but Macaulay Culkin in Party Monster.
Ooh, yeah.
It is just like, there's something about it, it almost feels homophobic. It kind of reminds me of like God, why am I forgetting her name? Hermione's performance in Bling Ring.
Mm-hmm. Emma Watson's
performance in Bling Ring, where you're like, what is going on here? Like, you're like, is this genius or is this like completely off the mark? Yeah. And so I think that's a top bad for me. Who's your top good?
Wait, I do want to say a recent bad for me was James Corden in The Prom. I found, I know that's exactly the kind of thing you are not prone to watching.
No.
It's based on a musical. It came out during the pandemic.
Couldn't find me there.
Like, legitimately just like literally straight man doing like gay hand gestures and being faggy.
Wow. Well, honestly, that makes me curious to watch.
And by the way, Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And I also want to add, there was this trend for a while to do a twist on the gay guy performance and have them be super masculine.
Yeah.
So Pete Davidson did that in some Netflix movie. It was the one we talked about with Taylor Tomlinson, with that actress that she likes, who is unmemorable.
Right. I thought, yeah. Another version of that is Adam Pally in Happy Endings.
Yeah, well, but that's actually a good gay performance.
No, it is good. And it actually was so hot, and I thought he was gay forever, and it was such a curse.
Yeah, no, that's actually one of the hottest performances anyone has ever given. And I also want to say Woody Harrelson did that in Friends with Benefits, which is a movie people forget about, but he was like a bro-y gay guy. Okay. Sorry, we're going long. My favorite one I was going to say is Robin Williams in The Birdcage.
Oh, duh. That's so genius. That's really good. I agree with that 100%.
Just like absolute genius, beautiful, stunning.
Yeah. That's really good. It's also not...
And, yeah.
Well, I want to say, the caller already brought it up, but I thought Paul Mescal was so good at being gay.
I agree.
In All of Us Strangers. Is that what it's called? I was like, this is like... I know this man. Like, and it's a subtle, because it wasn't bro-y, nor was it like faggy. It was like that, like in between sort of Bushwick gay. That's kind of hard to pull off.
Yes. He was literally doing Bushwick gay.
Yeah.
And you could actually tell that he has met Bushwick gays and has internalized how they behave.
Yeah. And it's a subtle performance.
I agree. No, I think, guess what? Paul Mescal, great actor.
Who knew?
I will be the first to say it.
Well, I can't wait for Gladiator 2.
Oh, yes. I guess I will watch that. And just to finish, I do want to say, if I may, I have a conflicted one.
Okay.
One that I can't decide if it's good or bad. And it is when I watched Andrew Garfield and Angels in America on Broadway. I came out of that actually sort of respecting what he was doing. But then I've talked to many gay men who said it was offensive and actually like really bad. And then they sort of convinced me. And then I was like, no, why are you listening to them? Trust your instinct, biatch. But then I sort of came out somewhere in the middle. So that is my conflicted gay performance. I don't know if you have one of those.
Conflicted gay performance. That's too nuanced. I don't think I have one, to be honest.
Okay. We have to ring the nuance alarm and move on to the next question. Okay, this is actually one of my favorite questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, gay guys. George and Sam. My question for you guys is pretty simple. If you were to have psychotic delusions, do you think you would have delusions of grandeur or prosecutory delusions? And why or why not? Love you guys. Bye.
Okay, so would we have delusions of grandeur or persecutory delusion? So it's like, is your delusion that you are the best or that you are being persecuted? And I actually think this is like one of the most, I almost think this is like the new, are you a top or are you a bottom?
Yeah, this is the new
like, I'm
introvert,
actually
extrovert.
obsessed with this question. Yeah.
This is tough because at times I'm both.
Totally.
I really oscillate between like, oh, you're the greatest person on earth, everyone worships you, to like, oh, you're complete garbage, no one has ever thought about you in your life.
Yep.
And so I'm not quite, I kind of want to lean grandeur, like, because I do think even when I'm feeling like, oh, people don't see you, people don't understand you, I can sort of twist that in my mind to be like, which is perfect because you're underestimated and you're coming from behind.
And that's exactly how I feel. and like I'm past my phase of thinking I'm eternally that life is especially unfair to me.
Yeah.
Like I've now gone past that. I have enough perspective to know that that's not true. If anything, I end up like blaming myself 3 times over if something doesn't happen for him. Like, well, you should have tried harder. But then I almost get like, on a meta level, I'm like, wow, look at me. I'm so hard on myself. And that's another reason why I'm so amazing, because I have such high standards for myself and for others.
The idea of high standards for oneself is such an interesting one. I really feel it's such a thing that people say where they're like, well, of course I'm depressed. I have high standards. Yeah. And it's like, I know what you mean, but like, so does everyone. It's not like I was like, well, I guess it's possible that some people don't, but like almost everyone is like has big dreams and then sort of gets them cut down over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. No,
it's true.
It's not like, oh, I just started out thinking, nothing could happen for me.
But then you meet people who are just like sort of satisfied.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? What trauma happened to you that you're happy with a middling existence of just being happy and having 3 kids?
Well, I have really high standards. Ugh, I think it's one of the more toxic things.
All right, next question.
Clownery will get you everywhere, darling. I want to hear your thoughts on Gaga. Sorry about that.
Okay, thoughts on Gaga. All right, I will say, I think some songs are out from Joker.
Well, the whole Harlequin album came out last night.
Today?
Yeah, I think at midnight.
Okay, so I will say just off the bat, I have not listened to it, but I have watched the random clip that Lady Gaga collabed with the official account of the Louvre on.
I haven't watched this clip.
She's just in front of the Mona Lisa and then paints a smile on the glass in front of the Mona Lisa, Joker style. So what are your thoughts on this?
I am curious about her new era. I kind of love when so the Harlequin album is like, people are sort of being like, it's bad, which respect. I'm sure they're right. But I kind of like when she gives when she's like releasing bad, I almost think of it as like she's cleansing so that she can put something good out.
Yeah. Okay. I love that theory. I have a slightly different theory about Gaga right now, which is I actually think since her heyday, a split has happened where she actually is often good at music and at her work and at acting, but she's actually terrible at promo and at all the ancillary things that come along with it. So I actually think that's a very useful lens through which to view Gaga, because you can be like, yes, this Mona Lisa video is stupid. House Labs Cosmetics is stupid. All your like dumb interviews are stupid, but that will not affect my opinion on potentially a new album will be good. Like, I actually felt like that even about like Chromatica, where I was like, I like these songs, but like, don't try to go on Jimmy Kimmel and talk to me about the mythology of kindness punks. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course, of course.
I actually sort of think fame has affected her ability to gab. Like, Gaga could never today do her like funny little sketch with Andy Samberg on SNL.
But I love, like, even in the Chromatica era, I remember her going on like Zane Low and doing like the whole track by track thing. But I was like, I'm addicted to this because I've like never seen, like, to see her talk for an extended period of time and just be like, what is going on in that head of hers?
Yeah. She is one of those people where as the longer she talks, the more confused you are about what she's trying to say.
I'm literally like, can you imagine being like her music producer? Like, you're like in the studio and she like just starts going and talking and you're like she's giving you notes and you're like, yeah. You're like, totally, I'll have that by Monday. And it like, you're just sort of guessing. I'm addicted.
Yeah, I do want to say, just while we're on the topic, we need to deal with Zane Low.
Yeah.
And we need a group effort to unseat him, because the damage that is being done across industries is monumental and will be felt for generations. And also, I want to say there needs to be a word, like a long German word for that type of guy.
Yeah.
What is the word for like sort of streetwear guy, sort of fuckboy guy, but that's also like really in a saccharine way, so like performatively nice, and is also like clearly somehow successful without having any talent, charm, or charisma. And also people somehow watch his stuff and people want to collaborate with him, even though the open secret is that everyone thinks he's annoying. Like, what is the deal with it?
It's so deeply confusing. I'm struggling right now because I'm trying to imagine what Zane Low looks like, and I'm only seeing the Hot Ones guy. I like cannot picture Zane Low. My brain is just picturing Hot Ones guy.
He's literally like, I Hot Ones guy is a little more like, there's something more authentic and nerdy about him, and it was very like, he really sort of made his way on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do think that was a surprise hit, that show.
Yeah.
Whereas Zane Low, it was so top down.
Yeah. But I just want to say, I'm curious I'm scared for Joker 2 because I hear that she's not even in it that much. And I'm worried that...
Really?
Yeah. And I'm worried that it's going to be the worst thing it can be, which is boring.
Huh.
Because if Gaga's boring, I might have to jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
But I hope the new music's exciting.
I gotta say, it's like, I do think Gaga as Joker is one of those things that's like criticism proof. Like, what are you going to say about it that's insightful? Like, you just have to like bang your head against a wall until you are at approximately 65% brain capacity and go enjoy it at Regal Essex.
I mean, the way that I'm so excited to see that movie. Ugh.
Yeah. No, it'll be monumental.
Hi, Sam. Hi, George. Love the pod. I am calling just because I have been recently doing a lot of ruminating, specifically on a photo from Jemima Kirk, who plays Jessa on HBO's Girls. There's a photo on her Instagram story from like, I don't know how long ago, in which she's asked to give advice to unconfident women, and her response is, I think you guys are thinking too much about yourselves, and that this has like unlocked a whole situation for me. Specifically, and I've been thinking about it, like the question that I have, I guess, is like, is that maybe like the secret? Like, do straight men move through the world so easily because they are just like not thinking critically about themselves? Yeah, so I guess I have that question. And then also, like, do you agree that is the secret for unconfident women? And I also wanted to pose the question, like, do you have any advice for unconfident gay guys? Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, what an amazing question, theory, and yeah, that was really genius.
Yeah, I have one critique of that call, which is do not condescend to us by explaining who Jemima Kirk is. We know who Jemima Kirk is.
I did find that. I was like, hello.
Hello. Do you know who you're dealing with here? Okay, I want to hear your answer, and then I'm developing a theory.
I think that is kind of the key. Sometimes this is something, sometimes when I'm feeling like particularly magnetic, when people are like paying attention to me, I'm sort of like, what am I doing differently than normal?
Totally.
And I think what I'm doing differently is like actually like just like not like just sort of moving forward and being like being unself-conscious. And like,
yes,
when like, I feel like when I'm like I feel like it happens at work if I'm like in a bad mood and just sort of like, I'm just going to go do this thing. That's when people are like, what's Sam up to? Like, it like really draws people because you're like, oh, I'm just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm like, what should I do? It's like, because I'm like, I just need to, I'm being unself-aware.
Okay. So along those lines, this is my theory, which is that at any given time, we are thinking of ourselves as the subject and the object. And there's a ratio. Like at any given point, you're like, I am 70% subject. Like 70% of my energy is going into being the one who does, being the one who is. And then the other 30% of my energy is going to how am I perceived? What is being done to me? How am I reacting to what is being done to me? And I almost am like, there should be like an IQ test or like a personality test type thing that measures what percentage subject and what percentage object you are at any given time. And I think we need to find the golden ratio because I think that's what this is about.
Wow. That's amazing.
Isn't that? Wait, I literally just thought.
No, I think that's really good.
But I do think to this caller's point, straight men do think of themselves more as subject, and anyone who is in any kind of slightly less privileged position is made to think of themselves as an object more. And then even when they are quote unquote empowered, they are like being empowered in response to the ways that they have been objectified.
Yeah. To me, the essential confident straight man is like, isn't like the jock necessarily.
No.
It's like the person who like you're at their house and they just like get on the computer and you're like,
yes, Sam, yes. Because they are literally like, I am the subject.
Yeah.
What I want to do now is get on the computer. Yeah. Or it's like the classic, like, straight guy playing video games while other people watch. Like they are not thinking of themselves as something someone else is experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very weird. And unfortunately, that's also what makes them addicting. Because you're like, oh my God, if only I could get them to pay attention to me.
Right.
That would be amazing.
And so much of like reclamation for like queer people or women or whatever is like, here are the ways they have been seen. They have been an object. And now we are reclaiming those things.
Yeah.
And suddenly selfies are empowering.
Damn. That's wild. Okay. Do you have any advice for unconfident gay guys?
Oh, advice for unconfident gay guys. You know what? If you're an unconfident gay guy, invite someone over to your apartment and go on the computer. because I guarantee you the person will find it hot. They'll be like, what the hell?
No,
this guy fucking rocks.
That's great advice. That they will be addicted to you for life.
Yeah. But then also randomly be nice. Like I think what you have to do as a gay guy is be really rude, but then randomly be nice to one person, and then everyone will see that and be like, "Oh, so it is possible." Like if I act in the right way, then he can be nice to me too.
Wow, it's like prison.
Yeah, it's exactly like prison. So, okay, let's go to our next question. Oh, I gotta support this one because it is my old New Jersey area code.
Whoa.
Hi, it's Shannon, a longtime listener, first-time caller. So I've been taking this comedy class, and I've gotten really curious about how some of my favorite comedians kind of learn their craft. So I was wondering if you guys could talk about how you learned to write jokes. Like, did you take classes, or did you have mentors, or did you just, invent jokes for the first time? And then kind of how did you like find your own voices within whatever structure you learned? Maybe this is really boring at Inside Baseball, but I was peer pressured by multiple Discordistas to ask this question. So here I am. Okay, that's all. Bye.
Wow. First of all, thanks, Shannon. Shout out
Thanks,
to Discordista Shannon. We've seen you. We hear you. I did Mo Fry Paslick's podcast this morning that was entirely about like process. So I'm in such a self-indulgent state of mind. So I'm actually thrilled to talk about this.
Okay, go.
I learned by going to open mics mostly. Because I was an improv girlina. I loved improv. I thought I would never do stand-up. I didn't like stand-up. I thought people that did stand-up were bad people. And I was like, but then improv sucked and I was like, okay, let's try it. So I like committed. I was like, I'm just going to be bad at this for a while. And that's okay. And so I went to like just regularly like an 11 p.m. open mic at the Creek in the Cave and would bomb. And about maybe like a month in, I started like having like 3 jokes that worked. And then it's like, okay. And then you can kind of see how they work. I always say I'm self-taught.
I always say I'm self-taught.
I'm self-taught. But I feel like I just learned by going to mics and trying. And then also you see how other people do it and you're like, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's how about you?
I took a class when I was in Boston. It was taught by Mehran Kagani, who is now has been, in fact, for many years, a comedian in New York. I signed up for this class not knowing anything about him, and I was very lucky because he is gay. He is gay and Iranian and has immigrant parents. So I like there was so much there for me to like relate to, which is so rare because I think, usually a stand-up like a comedy teacher, let's say it used to be, what I imagine is either like sort of a improv bro, like a comedy bro, or sort of like an asymmetrical haircut, blue hair woman.
Mm-hmm.
Both of which I can celebrate at various times in my life, but I think I was especially lucky that it was someone that I felt had similar life experiences as I did. And he was really, really helpful and really championed me during that. And later on, I think initially introduced me to the people at the Comedy Studio, which was like the place that I liked, that I ended up really performing a lot at in Boston. And I will say after the class was over, I was very much like, okay, like time to hit the ground running. And then you sort of like have this come down of realizing taking a 2-week class is not enough. Like you actually do have to bomb repeatedly. You have to do extremely poorly, and you have to go to open mics every night in order to like understand how a joke works. And just because you're funny in person or online, it does not mean that it's going to work on a stage.
Yeah.
But I do really credit him with like, I would say because I took that class, I think it sort of covered what I would have learned organically in, let's say, 3 months. You know what I mean? Like just like the things you would naturally internalize by seeing other people do it, I was just like taught because he was a good teacher.
Yeah.
And
how did you find your voice in the framework?
How did I find my voice in the framework? You can't just ask a girl how she found her voice in the framework.
Shannon asked. I'm just saying what
Let's
Shannon said.
Yeah. I don't know. I think being in Boston really helped because I was very new to the city, so I felt different. And that helped me be like, I actually think if I had started in Brooklyn, I would be like stressed about differentiating myself. And I'd be like, oh God, I'm like I'm like a small fish in a big pond. And there's all these gay guys that are like very similar to me. And how do I stand out? And I actually just because it was very common that I was like the only gay person of any kind on a lineup, or at the time, because I was like 24, like I was often young compared to other people. So that set me apart. Like I didn't feel like I needed to try super hard to be different. And I think that helped a lot. And then by the time I moved to New York, I like knew a little more who I was.
Well, I'd like to dispel some rumors. There weren't that many gay comedians when I was starting. It was me and Joel and Julio at the damn Pine Box mic on Wednesdays. And so it was very easy to differentiate. No.
Sure. Sure.
But I feel like for me, it was about, I think it was helpful to find the squad in Brooklyn, where it was like very, like, I always credit like River Ramirez had this show called Do Something, and it was like every Sunday, and they would do an open mic afterwards that was like very loose, very like it could be literally whatever you wanted, and there was a DJ there that would like riff alongside you, and it was truly like the most experimental time in my life in a fun way. And I like feel like I really found myself there, because it was like you could do normal jokes, but then you could also just like fully riff. Like I would like riff, and the DJ would like make little sound effects, and I would riff with the DJ, and I was like, this is like, it's still what my favorite thing to do is. And I'm like, and I really got like good at it there, of just like sort of being loose and
totally
and having fun. And I feel like that, like we all had like a similar goal, but a different approach to it, of like experimental, I don't know, but still with like traditional jokes and stuff.
Yeah. Also, I think that's a good point, because a lot of people will tell you like, you have to leave your comfort zone and always like go to all these different mics, and it'll be like in the middle of nowhere and you won't know anyone, but you still have to make them laugh, which is true to some extent. But finding that one space that you feel like safe and comfortable to experiment is, to me, the most important thing. Like whether that's like a weekly, like a weekly mic that you will know people at, and people will be like giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like obviously that can't be your entire life, because you do have to leave your comfort zone, but that's like where you work on stuff. It's almost like you should work on stuff there and then test it out in harder rooms.
Yeah, totally. There's a little balance. It's good to have a little, not your people, but it's also great to have your people.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, next call.
Hello, I'm wondering your thoughts on what is the gayest or straightest board game. Thank you. Bye.
Oh my God, look at that laugh.
I love that laugh.
Everyone's having such a good time. I mean, I'm trying to not be hyper obvious. Of course, my instinct is Monopoly is the straightest. It's literally like capitalism, the board game.
And I was going to say Settlers of Catan is the straightest. It's like you're literally like settling land.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. No, that's very true. Okay, so Settlers of Catan and Monopoly are tied for straightest.
Yeah.
We're not board game sort of aficionados here, so I'm really only thinking about the most popular ones.
I do think maybe like Pictionary is kind of gay. You're like
100%.
There's art,
yes.
There's performance, there's stress.
Yeah, no, I think Pictionary is a great example. It's also playing with the form, because you're like, oh, a board game, everyone's sitting down and doing the board. But with Pictionary, it's like, well, what if we were performing?
Yeah, totally. Scrabble has something LGBTQ plus about it.
Well, it's literally performing intellectualism. It's like it's literally how many words do you know? It's like, it's a competition for who is the most Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, no, that's I've always hated Scrabble. When people pull out Scrabble, I'm like, I believe you. I believe that you're smart.
Yeah, totally. Okay, great. Next question.
Hi, gay guys. We recently went to our beloved Brooklyn Bar Singers the other day and stumbled upon many of our mutuals who were there for a straight couples going away party, all of whom were straight and there for the first time. So there was lots of back and forth going on among our table as to whether or not this is okay, because we have brought a straight friend or two there many times, but I was just wondering, what do you think of these singers, first timers, like ogling at the porn on the screens and the poppers in the vending machines? And what is the straight etiquette for singers in particular?
This is interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I love you.
Okay, here, the party element is what is sticking to me, where I'm like, obviously straight people can come to singers. I do think if you're a straight couple and you're having a going away party that's going to be primarily straight people, like just go to a different bar.
Go to a different bar.
but not in like it's not like a moral thing. It's more just like it's like annoying. It's like
Yeah, and guess what? It is immoral. I will say I completely agree that hosting a party there as a straight person, well, I'll say this. Singers technically is not a gay bar. Singers is not like Marie's Crisis.
What do you mean by that?
It has I don't think Singers is like listed as a gay bar on Google Maps.
Are you sure?
Not that Google is not that Google is the arbiter of what's gay and what's not, obviously, but I don't think it was founded as that explicitly. And I actually almost think because of that, that's like why it's weirdly more inclusive.
But there's poppers in the vending machine.
But that's because it's like owned by gay people.
This is hard for me to agree with. I'm like,
what I said?
Yeah. I'm like,
I mean, okay, I'm willing to, by default, it essentially is. And so we can like start from there. But I just mean like, do you know what I mean? Like there is a certain kind of thing that's like rainbow flag gay bar.
Sure.
It's a very particular type of thing. There's also more specific ones, like a lesbian bar.
Sure. This is more like fluid.
A leather bar. Like Singers is basically just like all the like, it's literally Emma Watson in Perks of Being a Wallflower going, "Welcome to the island of misfit toys." That's what Singers is.
Oh my God. You're 100% right. Okay. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying now. I hear what you're saying.
I do find it interesting. The experience of seeing otherwise very progressive straight people with so many gay friends actually be shocked at something that is especially gay. Like, this person describing like straight people going to a going away party and then suddenly seeing penetrative gay porn on the screens, that is heaven to me. That is so funny. And it's actually like really heartwarming to me that like we can still have differences.
No, it is really nice. I mean, I was even thinking that, well, I was at the Eagle last night, of course, with my chosen family. And I was like, I actually couldn't bring someone, like I couldn't bring like a random straight guy here. Like he would be like, this is weird. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. Like we still have it. I
agree.
Yeah.
And I really, you have to hold those moments in your heart and say thank you.
Yeah.
And you have to say thank you, New York.
Thank you, New York.
All right, next call.
Hi, Divas. I just have one question in two parts. It's, what are you reading this fall? And who would you like to read this fall? Okay. Love y'all. Bye.
Okay.
I started this in the summer and I've been going slow, but I picked up another Ursula.
Ooh, you love Ursula K. Le Guin.
I give myself an Ursula every summer. I'm reading The Word for World is Forest, and I'm almost at the end.
Damn. Is it good?
It is good. Sort of classic Ursula. You better believe this sci-fi has some commentary on our society.
You better believe that, sweetheart.
But no, it's good. I'm excited for the end to see what the vibe is.
You'll never believe this.
What?
I also read a book by a woman named Ursula.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
I read this book called Exwife, which was a book in like the 1920s, I believe, and it was reissued last year or a couple of years ago. And it is about a woman going through a divorce in the 1920s. But when I tell you that it might as well have been written last week, I was having the time of my life. I said, this chica is ready to be empowered. She is ready to turn herself from an object into a subject. And she is writing about it for an audience of primarily gay men and very troubled women who read the New York Review of Books. So I highly recommend it. Her name is Ursula. I'm going to say Parrot, even though there is a slight chance it is French. But I'm going to go ahead and pronounce it in the English language, Parrot.
Wow.
So I read that. I also, I have to say, read our friend Dan Daddario's book that has not come out yet. But, we were summer coffee, let's be honest. And I have to say, I loved it. I was like so invested. It is about 5 actresses nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars, and you follow each of their trajectory, and it goes, it sort of cycles through them. So each chapter is about a different one, and then, you know, you start the cycle again. And there was something so fun about having fictional celebrities to stand and to make like little narratives about. And then since then, whenever like I saw Meryl Streep wearing a certain outfit, and in my mind I was like, "Ugh, she is being so Audra Benedict right now." Like that, she is so desperate when she's wearing that pink pantsuit. And so you know, shout out to that when it comes out. And I want to say, as I already mentioned on the podcast, I am, for whatever reason, deciding to read in 2024 On Beauty by Zadie Smith. I am in the process of reading it. And my answer to what I want to read this fall is that I finally want to sit down and read Middlemarch, which I've never read.
Ooh.
So I will keep everyone posted. Sam, what do you want to read?
Well, I did get another Joan Didion to continue my California journey.
Which one?
White Album.
Oh, that's great. That's the one I read. I mean, I think I had read it when I was younger, but that's the one I read right after she died when I was like, I need to pay tribute.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to feel Cali. And I want to read Dan's book too. I'm excited to read
It's great.
that.
It's really good. Okay, Sam, this one's for you. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Hi, George. Hi, Sam. Love you guys. My question is for Sam. Sam, I was wondering if after watching George so chicly tie the knot, if you think you and Misha will ever do the damn thing. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, I think no, we are. We're gonna try to figure it out. But we are being weird about it, and especially now that all the hullabaloo with the move is settled, I think we're gonna try to make a plan now, which is cool. But I don't even, honey, I don't know where to start, and I don't, as we all know, our descent into going from cool gay guys to really uncool gay guys is like it's happening so rapidly, and it's like actually very difficult. You
know that like metaphor of like, you know, you boil a frog, you know, a frog doesn't realize it's being boiled until it's dead. Mm-hmm. That is how I feel about becoming uncool and identifying as Gen X.
Yeah. It's because I'm still being like, can we get married without getting engaged? Like, is there a way to do it?
Wait, you still don't consider yourself engaged?
Correct.
Interesting. You have decided, just to be clear, you have decided you're getting married, but you are not engaged.
Correct.
Okay. That's fair. Why didn't I think of that? I guess I didn't know that was an option. I just thought I had to, part of the hazing process was that I had to go through this 9-month period of having to say the word fiance or having to say the word engaged. But I guess you could just not do that.
I'm trying to skip that part. I'm trying to see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I love watching you squirm when you're describing how you want to get married, but you don't know how.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, I do think for you, in your defense, it is tough to even pick like a location right now because it would be sort of random to do it in Los Angeles, but that's also where you live and it would be easier. I think doing it in Michigan would be a pretty big destination for people.
Yeah, that's hard to get.
It'd be a lot to ask.
Yeah.
And then coming back to New York would, of course, be tough.
Hard. Yeah, so I kind of can't win.
Yeah, best of luck. Next question.
Damn.
Hello, George and Sam. I'm calling in. My name's Ryan Sickles at Ryan Sickles Major Celeb on Instagram. Go follow me. I'm incredible.
Shout out.
I'm wondering what you think of the epidemic that's going on right now of beautiful women dating the ugliest, most heinous men, repulsive personalities, just pit vipers. What do you think of that epidemic going on of them getting together? Because it's really become a troublesome point in my life where every beautiful woman I know is dating the worst person the worst man in America. It's truly psychotic. Let me know. Have a day for you. Bye.
Wow, that's sweet. Okay, I'm like, okay, the bad personality is a line in the sand that I don't condone and I don't celebrate. But part of a man can be a little ugly. That's like
exactly. That's what it is.
Men are supposed to be a little ugly. That's what's hot about them.
Ugly is hot for men.
Yes, because it's like, are they pulling off ugly? And if you can pull off ugly, you're so hot.
It's really tragic because it just adds to the further objectification of women. Like, in our society, women have to be hot and men have to be ugly.
It's actually crazy.
It is like, that is the foundation that we start on, and it is a losing battle from there. And I don't really know what way out of it we have.
There's no way out. The only way is
because
through.
Guess what? If you start forcing beauty standards on men, they're going to look worse. Imagine a man that's like super Botoxed out and is wearing makeup and is like has like chiseled a 12-pack. It's completely unsexual to me.
Very, very unsexual. I mean, welcome to LA.
Literally. Well, that's why no one has sex there.
Quite frankly, the bad personality is tough. When like a friend is dating someone that does have a bad personality, I really don't know how to deal with that. It's one of life's greatest questions because it happens so often and there's genuinely nothing you can do. Because if you're like, break up with him, he sucks, they'll just like stop talking to you.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to let it run its course. And but at least let them be physically ugly.
I know, they have to be physically ugly. You just have to hope that they're the kind of physically ugly that has had to develop a personality in response to that, and not the kind of physically ugly that has had to develop a career only in response to that.
Yeah. Damn, that's smart. That's good intel.
But, I have to say the epidemic of that happening is not going to end anytime soon. So I say, put that smile on your face when you get lunch with your girls and just be prepared to say, I love that ring. It's so beautiful.
And think about the amazing speech you can give at the wedding. When I first met Ryan, I said, this guy is ugly and so is his personality. But after we went to Mexico together, I realized there's more to him than shitty opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Aw. But now that they're married, there's no way around it. They're getting married.
And I love love.
Perfect. Wow, write that down. Okay. Oh, this is from one of our favorite Discordistas.
Hi, George and Sam and George. This is Bumblecat. I am calling because although it is really fucked up when childless people give unsolicited parenting advice, here I am soliciting some, so please go wild. Know that I speak for the entire parenting community in saying that no one will be offended when you give your hot tips, tricks, and best ideas for raising children in New York or LA. Thank you. Bye.
Damn. Shout out to Bumblecat. Shout out to Discordistas.
Shout out to Bumblecat.
George, parenting advice? We have permission.
I know, it's hard. First of all, no screens until age 16.
You can have a screen the moment you can drive a car.
At the moment you can drive a car, you can have a screen.
Because how are you going to drive if you can't text and drive?
No social media. A huge earnest piece of parenting advice: no homeschooling.
I mean, say that.
No homeschooling.
Get them into a school.
Get them into a school. I think teach them about acts of generosity and community. I don't want to say community organizing, but like acts of community early on. Whether that's find some alternative to church. Like have a thing where they see, even if it's taking them to the farmer's market, they have to see people acting in community.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like that.
Well, if you're in New York and LA, a huge piece of advice that I have is have so much money. Just have endless amounts of money. Have secret kinds of money that no one knows where they come from.
Yeah, have like a normal job, but like have nicer things than everyone else.
Yeah, and no one knows how. Potentially various bank accounts in shadowy places like Switzerland or the Maldives. Just a lot of money. and wear really expensive clothes and just always look fabulous, even though it's sort of unclear what you do. And so that's a big one. I think more to the point, don't try to make it work with bringing kids to places they don't belong. Like, you have to just sacrifice it and be like, one parent stays home with the kids, not that everyone always has two parents, but assuming you have two parents,
Some
one
people
parent
have
stays home
three.
with the kids, some people have three, and the other person goes out. Also, like, be in community with the other parents and have like sort of a schedule where certain, like, this couple babysits the kid when you go out and you babysit their kid when they go out. Basically find ways to cosplay not having kids for hours at a time every week.
Yeah, I have a question about parenting.
Okay.
Do you think it's more like, I remember I hated swim team. I was on swim team my whole life, and I hated it the entire time. Maybe until I was about like 16, then I was good at swimming, and I was like, okay, now I like it. Yeah. But what's your stance on making kids do stuff they don't want to do? Because
this is one of the hardest things.
Because now I'm actually extremely grateful that I'm really good at swimming, and swimming is like being in the water is one of the most important things to me. But I hated it the whole time.
This is one of the hardest things. I almost think, once again, just like there needs to be a golden ratio between being a subject and an object, there needs to be a golden ratio between being forced to do things you don't want to do and having your voice heard.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, the people who know the golden ratio are people exactly like me who have parents that were immigrants, but they themselves are not immigrants. It's like, you have to basically combine the mentality of a stricter parent with the mentality of just like one of those like New York parents that lets their kids just like paint in crayon on a work of art at the Guggenheim and is like, she's creative.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just combine those two and find the right 50-50. I think maybe 50-50 is the right ratio. Maybe it's like every second time that a kid doesn't want to do something, you force them to do it.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that's good.
Okay. All right. Ooh, this is fun.
Hi, Sam and George. If you two were in a Freaky Friday type situation where you swapped bodies for 24 hours, what would you do? Thanks.
Okay, what would we do? Huh.
I have an answer.
Okay, what is it?
I'd take that hole for a spin.
You are crazy.
And say, let's see this hole. Let's go for a spin. See how the other half lives.
Oh my god. Well, I'm going to take yours for a spin.
No, well, you're not going to like it. You're going to say, "Damn, this is much harder."
Damn. Yeah, I mean, it is true that I'm better at it than you are.
I'm going to take this damn hole for a spin.
What would I do? I mean, I'm trying to think. Okay, so we found something my body does better than yours. What would I do if I were in your shoes? Oh, I know what I would do. I would like very lightly fuck with all your coworkers. Like, I would go to work, but then do really weird, like very small weird things. Like, I would bring fish and try and microwave it for lunch, or I would like, I would like.
You'd sully my reputation.
Yeah, or I would like randomly just constantly name drop. Like, I would be like, I was with Olivia Wilde last night and she is trying to get this deal closed. And when I tell you that Sony is absolutely useless, like, it's always something. And she's a really, really smart writer. Like, people don't really understand that. And I would just do that, like, one after the other. I would start name dropping random celebrities to like people you like at work.
I mean, to be honest, that's like 1 degree away from what I really am. Like, whenever I see a celebrity, I'm like, like, I'm like, you wouldn't believe it. I was at a party and Troye Sivan was there. Like, I can't not do it.
Literally me and Jessica Biel. Patreonistas know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Okay, great. Perfect answers, I think, for both. All right, this one, this one is funny. Okay.
Hi, George and Sam. This is a time-sensitive question. Next week, my partner and I are going to a previous third's wedding. So he and his new partner are very homonormative, which I find is basically gay straight. So, for example, their house theme is beige eleganza. Anyways, I'm asking this question anonymously because his new partner doesn't know that we used to fuck/date. And I'm really struggling to figure out, what do I get a previous third in a now homonormative relationship as a wedding gift? Anyways, thank you so much. Bye, Kay.
This person is going to a former third's wedding. And the question, which is iconic, is what gift to get for the former third's wedding? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, get them like a fancy coffee maker. I feel like...
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I mean, if you're going for like...
an espresso
machine. I mean, they're basic. You can get them that. It also, I'm sort of like, why go? Not to be...
Totally. I mean, I think all we know about this person is that they are a former third, but, it might be that they're also close friends.
True.
Like, they also have a good relationship. I would say my advice would be get something really normal, but then write a little quip in the card. Like, get an espresso machine and be like, think of me every third espresso you make.
Damn, you're like the Joker. I love that.
Yeah, I think mess with them a little bit. Don't get a gag gift. I think that is rude. Like, don't get like a giant vibrating dildo.
Yeah.
Get an espresso machine. Okay, all right, next question.
Hi, Sam and George. I was just wondering, with Halloween fast approaching, what scares you? Thanks, guys.
I do want to say this is the same person that sent the Freaky Friday message. I just checked, and it's the same number.
That's fun. We got two.
So apologies to other people whose calls are not being played because we had to play two calls from the same person.
Some people have hits.
What scares you? Hypocrisy.
The Trump.
Hello. Waves around manically. Gestures wildly.
Hello. Wake up, people. It's time to vote.
I don't know. Rising fascism. The end of democracy.
Maybe gestures around to all of this.
So I guess all of this is normal.
I've got some classics. Heights. I'm not a big on.
Oh, interesting.
Birds. I don't love. Fish. I think fish can really ruin my experience in the water if I see too many of them. It makes me want to leave. And that's all I can really think of. How about you?
I would say the vastness of the ocean.
Really?
Yeah, like there's a poster for the Disney film Atlantis, The Lost Empire, that is just the letter A, but in a really, really violent ocean. And that used to really scare me when I saw it at the movie theaters when I was a kid. And I really love the beach. I travel by boat pretty often when I am home for the summers. And I hate when there's too much, turbulence on a boat.
Yeah, boat turbulence is rough.
And it's also like, there's something scary to me about something as, like, I would say so calming as the water. I mean, to be by a beach when the water is calm is literally meditation. Mm-hmm. The fact that it can turn in 1 second and kill you, I mean, if that's not a metaphor for life, then I don't know what is.
I have this thing about the ocean. Like, I do like watching sort of stories about people who get, their boat crashes and they're stuck floating for days, or like whatever, like sort of perilous moments in the ocean. And there's something in me where I'm like, I'd live. Like, there's something where I'm not afraid of the ocean because I'm like, I know I could live. And it's, and I'm like, okay, so it's 50 miles to shore. I can swim that. And it's like, no, you can't. But like in my mind, I'm like, I'd make it. I'd make it.
Well, that's sort of how I feel about jumping jumping off a bridge. I'm like, well, it's water. Like I would just like dive.
No, totally. I'm like, just like hold tight.
Okay. There's some good ones coming up. All right.
Hi, my name is Connor. I'm calling in from Washington, D.C. Love the show. Come back soon. Okay, and here's my question. What does it mean to you to be a man? When you hear that question, do you immediately roll your eyes and dismiss it because of the premise of the question, or does being a man mean something to you?
And how would you answer it? Okay, that's it. Bye.
What do you think?
Wow, this is an interesting one. I will say both of us sort of, before the comment about like, do you roll your eyes? We both sort of hopped up, not roll our eyes, but sort of in shock. So,
well, it's one of those things you don't want to grapple with.
You don't want to grapple with. And it's almost like when people are like, what's the meaning of life? And you're like, what do you mean? Like, life isn't a question. Like, there's no meaning. There's no translation.
It's also difficult to answer it in a non-cliche way in these times. I don't want to be self-flagellating and be like, of course it comes with privileges that I'm aware of, and I try to make space.
In this
for
house,
others
we
that don't have
believe
those.
Yeah.
In this house, we believe that being a man means staying silent and letting the women do the talking, unless they don't want to, in which case we step up as men.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a man?
I have no idea. What does that even mean?
You know what's right? Well, here's the thing. It's almost like I very much relate to the idea of being a gay man, and that is like,
well, there's history, there's culture.
Yes. So I'm like, is there a way to separate the two? Like, do I relate to the identity of man separate from the identity of gay man? I don't know.
I can't tell.
I mean, I like...
Sometimes with, like, my clothes and the whole Americana thing.
That's true.
I feel like a certain, like, it feels foreign, but in a way that feels fun. Like, it's almost like when, like, like, it's like putting on a dress, but a man dress. And it's like, because it's not like, oh, this is every day. It's like, I'm feeling special in a way that I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I feel like I had a little bit of that when I was planning the wedding, where I was like, at every given point, we basically had to do the groom rather than the bride thing. Like, it's like, we're not going to wear a veil. Like, we're going shopping for groom suits. We are having little boutonnieres with, like, flowers on them. We are, I don't know, making, like, we were very aware of things not looking too frilly, even, like, the party favors and all that stuff. And it was an interesting experience to always ultimately gravitate towards the more masculine thing than the more feminine thing. Like, there was not a single thing at the wedding that, I mean, other than like the music and the guests, there was not a single thing that was like, that played with gender in any way.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I wonder what that means. In my mind, I'm like, oh, we're keeping it classic, and that is the most like chic thing you can do. But then, are we upholding the very institutions
that are creating a rise of fascism?
A rise of fascism, a microcosm of the rest of the world. But the best, I think, my version of your Americana thing is that I genuinely love wearing a suit. Like, to wear a suit tailored to your body with a beautiful tie that you, or like, I love tying my own tie because it's something that you like grow up seeing your dad do or something. And every time you do it, you're like, look at me, I'm a man.
That's kind of how I feel about shaving.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's nothing, I have like an electric razor, and I'm actually robbing myself of like, I've always wanted to be the guy with like shaving cream on his face, like in the shower in the morning. Yeah. And I'm like, will I ever, that to me is like the peak of masculinity. And I'm like, I'm not ready yet.
I actually think when I grew out my beard after my big breakup in like 2018. And I thought it was going to be sort of a post-breakup thing. And then now, many years later, I still have it. And that was almost like, after rejecting so much of masculinity, that was like a little baby step back in, where I was like, oh, look at me. I can have a beard and be gay. So I don't know. I think we have a complicated and at times ambivalent relationship with being men, but I certainly don't think we can say we don't think about it at all.
No, I think we're almost like, there's like a removal where we're like, yeah, like trying to look at it from a zoomed out place, but then but are not entirely. I don't know what that means.
And listen, I think I'm past, doing straight voice on the phone when someone calls your family. You know what I mean? Like when someone calls the home phone and you answer, you're like, hello? No, my mom's not here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're 13.
Damn, you're good at that.
Like, I think I'm past that. And then sometimes, guess what? I find myself still doing it. Sometimes you'll suddenly meet a man, like a boyfriend of a friend of yours or something that is so oppressively manly that you're like, well, I have to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what my real voice is anymore. But because my voice definitely changes also when I'm around, the chicas. When it's like when we're all at singers, I sound different.
Yeah.
But
no, I know.
Whatever.
Guess what? Gender is a performance. And I made that up, so you can write that down.
That's smart.
All right. Next question.
Hi, George and Sam. I just wanted to ask, do you think that Chaperone has reached Lizzo's path? Thanks so much. Bye.
Sam, this is all you.
Well, the thing is, she was always at Lizzo's pass. It's just which direction did she go? Like,
but do you think she's chosen a direction? Because I sort of think no, and that's what's so stressful about this moment is that there's this extended period of time where she's at the pass and she's like not picking.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think there's an internal struggle because I think both ways don't look good to her. It's very LOTR,
Mm-hmm. And for anyone who doesn't know Lizzo's pass, Sam, would you like to explain it?
Lizzo's pass is that place where when you get really famous, like quickly, and you're like sort of indie famous, but then you're at a point where you could be even bigger. And you're like, but right now, do you like, if you're at Lizzo's pass, it's like, which direction do you go? Do you go like the Lizzo route and sort of become like Target songs, or do you go like FKA Twigs and stay true and
recommit to your altness?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'll just make money doing fashion ads and like randomly an ad for Google Glass, but that's not going to affect my indie cred because my music is going to stay indie and it's going to be listened to by approximately 13 gay guys who all have borderline personality disorder.
And I'm one of them. It really. And because there was a point that people forget that Lizzo was like cool.
Exactly.
Lizzo was cool.
And Lizzo was cool.
Like the gay,
and she was at Lizzo's pass.
She was at Lizzo's pass, and she chose Target. And now Chapel has climbed the mountain, and she's at Lizzo's pass as well.
What do you think Phoebe Bridgers chose?
I think it's going to depend on the next album.
Okay, I agree.
Because
I think there's a way she could go full poppy on the next album, and it would be kind of shocking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful that she's like been silent for like the last 9 months ish.
Same.
because I think it shows a good like understanding of the past.
Exactly.
And she's like,
yeah,
I don't want to take the wrong path. I need to be quiet.
Yeah. Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for Phoebe Bridgers. And I just want to say to Chapel, take some time to journal.
I want to say, don't fall for it. Like,
exactly.
All of this is fake. Everyone being mad at you is fake. Everyone defending you is fake. Like, the whole thing is just invented to have people have something to tweet about.
You are better than this. You are a great songwriter. You are talented beyond your years. And in the words of Fiona Apple, this world is bullshit.
This world is bullshit. And like, the more you can ignore it, like the way that I've been watching all this unfold and just been like, wait, none of this matters. I feel
none of this matters.
Absolutely nothing towards any of this.
No.
And I hope that she is able to see it and sort of ignore it.
Yeah.
But it's hard, I would imagine.
Of course. Well, that was the first part of our autumnal earnestness bonanza.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back next week for more. We are actually like approximately exactly halfway through the questions we chose. So see you then, and thank you for listening, and we love you. Sam, any final words?
We love you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And special shout out to the Discordistas. It's fun to hear your voices.
Yeah, it is really fun. And Toronto, we'll see you in November.
Yeah. And Chicago and New York, see you very soon.
Oh, yeah. In Chicago, there's literally like 2 tickets left. So get those fast.
Please.
Biatch.
Biatch.
Okay. All right. Love ya.
Love ya. Bye.